Hi, everybody. This is Rose of Sharon, and I'm back again with another book review. I just recently read Turtles All the Way Down, which is by Greene. And if you know Mr. Greene's work well, like I do, he is an author from my native Bloomington. And this one, let me look really quickly in the cover. Yeah, this is a recent book. This was written in 2017. And it's a very intriguing book because you have this young teenage lady or pre-adolescent girl, and she's going through quite a bit in her life. And like all of John Greene's previous novels, they take place in Indiana. So there are lots of consistencies with what I know as a Hoosier, and of course some things are completely fabricated. But as far as what he says about White River, unfortunately, it's true because I used to live in Martinsville, so I know quite well. Yeah. I love the rivers, however, changes need to be made to clean the river. I mean, if they had the opportunity to actually clean the rivers, that would be stellar, but unfortunately, I just don't really see that happening unless the DNR takes it amongst themselves, or I should say, the Division of Water with the government. If they take, well, actually, yeah, come to think of that, huh? If anybody wants to start a petition with me, if you're a Hoosier like myself, you want to see the White River cleaned up, let's start a petition. Let's do it. Email me, and maybe you could help me do that, because honestly, I think it's one thing that, if not for me, then for the future Hoosiers that come along. This is really a wonderful book. It's very thought provoking. It's very revealing as to Aza's thought process and just her uncomfortable nature and her hypochondria and just constant worry, 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 worry. And I thought, yeah, I may not have her anxiety to that degree, but that kind of crippling gnawing in your brain, that the constant chatter, I can relate to that because, yes, I've been through it. I'm not what you would call worry wart. Yeah, there are some certain things that I have no control over that, yeah, I will admit they do cause me concern. They do cause me a lot of sleepless nights, but that's where faith comes in. But I'm not going to start waving my Christian flag, or else I might get demonetized, or worse, lose a lot of gardeners that I might have had otherwise. But the book itself is really quite interesting. It's a nice little expose into the psyche of preteens, or people who are teens, and it's exceptionally written. I love the way John writes. He has a very poetic methodology, and he's straightforward. Of course, in this one, he spares no expense to curse, which, yeah, that's understandable, and it's a bit caustic in the way, but that it's but it makes sense given the characters, and I understand that would actually lead somebody to use profanity. Yeah, but despite that, it's one of those books that's really quite wonderful and very uplifting. And he is an advocate for mental health, which, oh man, I really wish that more authors were advocates for mental health, because it's one of those things. It's kind of taboo even in this day and age. You'd be much worse off, say, if you were in, for example, a country like China, because there is a stereotype, a stipulation, a profiling that occurs when somebody actually has a mental disease, saying it's a curse. You've dishonored some god or something, and this is because you've done wrong somewhere, or maybe your ancestor did. And it's almost like Jewish belief in that the curse will go down 5 generations, and then ultimately be lifted. But with somebody who has crippling depression, they're going to be ostracized, they're going to be harassed, and they will be completely secluded. They won't even acknowledge that they even have a problem. They say, well, it's some kind of defect that you have. I thought, oh, huh, ooh, that's harsh, but that's what they believe. But we're not like Asian countries. Well, I should say, yeah, China's the worst. Japan, they have issues with suicide over there, just due to their massive intellect. But price you have to pay for a mind that has such deft and alacrity. So yeah, that's what what creativity does, and I should know, as I am a proponent of that. But as I stated before, the fact that he's an advocate for health or mental health is very, very, very touching, and I think it's nice that in this day and age, it's less of a it's less of a stereotype, because a lot of people will say, well, I'm bipolar type 1. People would never think that by looking at me, but I'm unknown. I mean, for me, I'm going to just state it outright. It's a label. It does not define you. It's just something that was placed upon you as a diagnosis. Do not take this as gospel, because you determine who you are. In this case, Aza learns about herself, and she's finding herself and becoming more aware of just who she is, and it's so interesting. It really is. It's a really exceptional little remark on just her process and how unbelievably brilliant she is. So I could relate to Aza. I'm not to that kind of extreme, because she's the extreme segment of the large swath that I think is what's known as the gradient of bipolar. Bipolar is really weird. Let me just, from experience, I can tell you, because before I never knew. I mean, I have no idea, but who cares? So what? I am who I am. God loves me. I am made in God's image. So, yeah, there you go. And I think mental disease in and of itself is just another opportunity to prove our diversity as humanity. Why not? And this is just another spectacular example of that. But I don't really have that much to say about Turtles All the Way Down, other than it's really a sensational, excellent read. And if you're a fan of John Greene or Hoosier literature, you want to learn more about Indiana, you're welcome to it. And one more thing, we are not a drive-through state. We do not like that title. Please remove that title, and do not make that a stigma for the Heartland, because yeah, that's not us. Come and stay, come and play, come explore. There are lots of things to see, and it's actually really quite a beautiful state. I'm biased, but we've got biotech, so we've got biotech, we have life sciences, we are the top of the top. And of course we have our or orchard, well, I should say, yeah, orchards too, orchards and wineries. We have actually one of the best wineries in, other than Napa Valley, we have the best winery in the whole US of A, which is Oliver, of course. But anyway, just tooting my little horn a little bit about just what's so outstanding about being a Hoosier. And no matter where I go, I will forever be a Midwesterner, no matter what, even though I do have a bit of Southern twang in my soul. Yes, this is true. I will always be a Hoosier girl. That's not going to change. But that's about it. Until next time, live long and prosper. Ciao tutti.